Well, I've received enough complaints about the terrible audio in my first camper tour that I finally decided that I need to do it again. So that's what this video is. We're gonna do another tour of my camper trailer. I've made some significant changes to it, so I figured it was okay to make a new one, trying to appease the masses and make a new tour of the camper, and hopefully this has better audio for you. So as you can see, the awning is the same as before. This is an awning that we bought off of Amazon. Honestly, it's pretty great. I know it's not as nice as those ARV ones, or I can't think of all the other brands right now, but there are some really nice ones out there. We spent like $100 on this. Pretty inexpensive. And it's held up pretty well. We've had to like replace some nuts because they wiggle off down the road. But besides that, it's held up pretty good. I wouldn't trust it in a heavy wind. There was one time last year that we were going through the Badlands in South Dakota, and I was like, we're not setting up the awning. It's going to blow away in the middle of the night. So I wouldn't trust it in heavy winds, but in some light winds, it's fine. It also keeps the rain out really well. I have these USB cafe lights up here. It really kind of sets the mood at night. Good ambiance. We get a little fire going. Play a little bit of tunes. These really make it a nice feel outside of the camper. Let's get over to the camper and I'll show you a little closer kind of some of the changes we've made. If you're curious about any of the parts that I've used on the camper build, I will try and add those in the description below. Scroll through that, see if you can find what you're looking for. If you can't, shoot me a comment and I will respond ASAP to try and tell you which part I used for any part of the camper or where I found something. One of those things I've recently added is this little USB port. This powers our lights out here. Somebody could also charge their phone, and it has the voltmeter. It is waterproof in the sense that it has this little plug that I can add and cover it up, and that seals it up really well. That's worked out pretty well so far. It's nice to have it to power these lights out here. Okay, the biggest change I've made to the camper is the aluminum on the outside. So this stuff has been really great. I have a video that I just put out last week that kind of details how I put this on and why I did this. Basically, the Raptor liner that I had on before started cracking, so that wasn't working out. I needed to do something different, so I did this. I also added on aluminum trim here. I got this from Rec Pro. It's been great stuff as well. Everything's sealed up really well with butyl tape, with silicone, and then I also added silicone on the outside. Let's head over inside and I'll kind of show you what's happening in there. Okay, now we're inside the camper, and I also have made a couple of changes in here. I added some trim to this to make it look a little nicer. This is just cheap PVC trim that I got from Home Depot. It's really bendable. I just nailed it in with a finish nailer. It worked really good. It's not like the best product in the world, but it's great, I think, for a camper like this. If everything's gonna be getting dirty and kind of banged up, PVC trim seemed like a good idea. We painted the whole thing again, put some new primer down. The big thing that I've added here is the bed up on top here. This bed actually folds down from the wall, so we can, when we're done camping, we'll pull off the mattress and we will fold this up, and I have a lock on the other side there that kind of holds that bed up and out of the way. So if somebody didn't want to have the bed at all, they could just fold it up, put it away, no problem. It's great for our little boy to be up there and sleep, but our dog could also sleep up here. We haven't really tested that yet. Maybe tonight we will. So that's something that has been really nice. It kind of frees up space for everyone. We still have plenty of space for our feet underneath, but this is a good add for our family. I still have the lights that go on the outside here. They are so bright, you can see for a mile probably. They're very bright, and you can see everything outside your camper at night with those lights. We still have the lights inside as well. These are great. They're not super bright. They're dim enough that like you're not going to blind everyone in the middle of the night. I added some new USB ports here. We used to have different ones, and they were just kind of not holding up there very well. They were from Amazon. These ones are also from Amazon, but I like them better. The only problem is they have really bright lights on them, so we've covered all that up with tape. I'll probably paint them at some point. I've also added some hooks here to hang up our clothes at night, so when we hop in, strip down, you can hang up your clothes. It's out of the way. You're not like throwing it down by your feet. These doors are from Vintage Technologies. Frank over there has really helped us out with doors. I highly suggest checking him out if you're going to buy doors for your camper. They are expensive. I would buy them every time, even for the cost, just because I don't want to deal with any leaks coming through or anything like that, and they do a really good job with these doors. For the next build, I'm also going to buy one of their doors for the back of my camper for the Galley, and I think that's going to work even better than what I built. We still have our fan up here. It's a 12-volt fan, also from Amazon. This is a cheap fan. It's still really great. It's a little loud, and I might get a different one next time, but for this build, it's been great. Our mattress, this was a queen size mattress, and I cut, I think, 3 inches off of it, off of the side. So it's a queen size mattress minus 3 inches. It's very comfortable in here. It's plenty big enough for my wife and I, and often our boy sleeps in between us, and there's still plenty of room for all 3 of us in here. It stays nice and warm in here during the winter. We were down in the Grand Canyon last fall, and temperatures were in the 20s, and we were toasty in here with the vent and the fan on, all of the windows open. It really stays nice in here. That said, it also stays pretty cool. If you can get that vent open and the fan on, and you open up these windows, you get a good airflow in it, and it feels real nice. But it stays about as cool in here as it is outside. Now that I've showed you that, let's head around to the back galley, and I'll kind of show you any changes I've made back there. Alright, for my galley, I'm still using this hurricane hinge. I built the door myself. It's just a 3-foot tall by 4-foot wide door. The camper itself is 5 feet wide, 8 feet long. So we'll hop in here and I'll kind of show you. I've got these turning handles. They lock, so they're not going to come open coming down the road. I've painted everything in here. It still gets beat up and dirty just from going down the road and pans hitting things. So I need to figure out maybe a better system for that. I think if I just get the right totes and bins, that will help the problem there. We've got our solar panel controller over here. So power comes in from the solar panel, gets down to our battery. This is just an AGM battery. Eventually I would like to get a lithium battery. For us right now, it works just fine. I've put these little mats on all of the shelves. These are just, I got them at Home Depot. They're liners for your toolbox. Also added some little lights in here. Might not be able to see them right now just because it's so bright outside, but there are lights in here, so there's a light for each shelf to light up everything underneath it. Definitely would like to get a better system going back here, and in the future I won't do this type of door. I'll probably buy a door from Frank at Vintage Technologies, and his doors open and they go to the side. Okay, before we look at the roof and the solar panels, I wanted to show you something on the trailer frame itself that I've changed since my last video. Okay, so when I first built this camper, I used a trailer frame that was from Workhorse Trailers in Ogden, Utah. It was a utility trailer, and the edge of it came up about this high, which is why I have my doors so high, which I don't love. We have to use these little stools here in order to get out and not like gouge our legs with the door frame. Next time I build one, these doors will sit much lower. Like the mattress will sit above where the door is, and that way we don't like smash our legs as we're coming out. But I hated this trim, this edge, metal edge piece that came up. I really didn't like it. I didn't think it looked good. So I cut it off, and I had a welder come through and wrap my tongue for me. So the tongue now, it used to end right up here. It now comes all the way back and back to the fender. So much stronger. Now, since I took that edge off, I needed to have some strength, some shear strength on there. So when we're going down a bumpy road, it's not going to like fall apart on me. So that's a change I've made. Then I painted the whole trailer frame without the camper with POR 15, and then I added a top coat called POR 15 top coat. The camper is held on by these metal plates on every corner of the trailer. They're bolted through the frame and through the camper itself. It's super solid. the nuts and bolts are locked on there really well, so it's not going to be coming off down the road. Okay, let's head up to the roof. Before I get to the roof, just so you can see, the front here is actually this black diamond plating. It's aluminum metal, diamond plated. I thought it looked a lot cooler and better, and it also, I think, will protect a little better when rocks fly up off the road, if they fly up. I think this will protect it a little bit better than the normal painted aluminum. So on the top, I used painted aluminum. Since it's a 5x8 trailer and my aluminum sheets were 4x8, I had to do a couple sideways, and that's why you see that seam right there. It's covered up with flat aluminum trim. It's sealed up real tight. No water's going to get in there ever. I'm not too worried about that. You see my vent fan, and then also back there is the solar panel. All of my solar equipment is Renogy minus the battery. The battery I just got at AutoZone or O'Reilly, and got a 105 milliamp hour battery. It's a deep cycle marine battery. I built this roof rack myself. I got this idea and a lot of the ideas for this trailer from Clint on the Seeking Adventure YouTube channel. He has a great video of his trailer tour, and it was one of the original campers that inspired me to make my own trailer. And he builds his roof rack out of this same material. It's called Super Strut or Unistrut. And before, I had these Unistrut pieces that go along the outside, and I had just normal circle conduit going across. That conduit I didn't love. It was a little too bendy and worried me a little bit. So I put Unistrut going across as well. So that's those. Originally, I built this camper with the idea that I could take the camper off and use the utility trailer. I've since learned that that's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, and also I didn't love the look of how it looked with that functionality, so I've decided to just make this dedicated camper trailer, and all of my camper builds from now on will be that way. The camper is going to be bolted down to the frame for all the future ones, and this one's basically on there solid. I could take the bolts out and remove the camper if I needed to, but I never will. Before we sign off, there's a few things that I wanted to share that I'm going to add to the camper because I just need it to be just a hair better. Those few things, one of them are, I'm going to put leveling jacks on here, but I would like to have a jack on every corner, because one of the biggest pains is showing up to a campsite and having to level out your trailer and put wood under the tires and jack the tongue up and get it all leveled out. I don't love doing that, so I would really like to have jacks on every corner. That way it would make it real easy to just get things all leveled out. On top of that, I also need to add some kind of table setup. Right now, we end up cooking on our tailgate of our truck, and it's not ideal. Right now we have these little fold-out tables that are cloth, and they're nice to eat your dinner on, but they're not good to cook on. I need to find something that I can cook on, that I can prep on. That's something I really need to add to our setup here. I'm also really interested in adding a tongue box. I've looked at some that are pre-built, some from Harbor Freight, some on Amazon. I'm thinking about building my own. I have a bunch of scrap aluminum from this build that I think would look really good for a tongue box. So let me know what you think I should do there. I know these camper trailers are hot items right now. A lot of people are building them, a lot of people are buying them, and I would really love to see everyone else's trailer build. So if you want to showcase your trailer build, if you have a video on YouTube, please link it down in the comments. Let's give each other tips. For sure, let me know what I could change on this camper build, how I could make it better. Also, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to share as much information as I can. If you've made it this far in our video, I just want to say thank you. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who has watched our videos and subscribed in the past. We now have over 1,000 subscribers, which is really cool for us. We're really excited about what that means for our channel, that we can, continue to build it. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Really helps the algorithm to share it with more people and continue to grow our channel. If you want to see more of our content, I'm really hoping to put a lot more out in the coming days and weeks and months. So hit that notification bell and you'll get notifications every time we put out a new video. We're planning on being very active this summer with our camping and taking this camper all over the place. So please follow along. We'd love to have you for the adventure. We love hearing from you guys, your comments, share your videos with us, and we'll be happy to check out your builds and your adventures. Thank you for being here, and we will see you in the next one.